Say hello to the Moto G Stylus 2025. And I have a lot of people that have been waiting on this phone. I've been waiting on this phone because it gives us an alternative, right? So normally if you want to get a stylus phone, if you want to get the flagship level, you got to spend $12.99 to get this guy, the S25 Ultra. And Motorola has been holding down the fort in the budget tier department, giving us an alternative. And they're actually more on par than ever this year because Samsung took the Bluetooth features out of their S Pen, out of their stylus. So now basically the stylus are about even whenever it comes to these two phones. And there's been a couple of nice changes here. We've got the Snapdragon 6 Generation 3. Before it was the Snapdragon 6 Generation 1. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, 5,000 milliamp battery. They're saying it's rated for up to 40 hours of battery life, which would be pretty impressive. And you can recharge it at 68 watts. 68 watts. Of course, there's no charger in the box anymore. But anyway, and this is my initial review on the phone. I've only had it for a couple of days, so I can't call it the full review yet. But I think you're going to enjoy it, and I think you'll be happy with what you see. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the Moto G Stylus 2025. This is an interesting phone. It costs $399, and if you paid kind of attention to the stratosphere with the phones, we've got the Moto G Power, the Moto G Stylus, and they get $100 more expensive, and they add a couple of extra features. This one has a beautiful POLED display, 3000 nits brightness, 3000 nits, 120 hertz refresh rate, and it's really, really nice. Like, it's a nice looking screen. It's one of the nicest looking screens you're going to get in a phone at this price point, and the bezels really are not that bad at all. I think the bezels are actually pretty fair for the size of the phone, and then all that powered with the Snapdragon 6 Generation 3. This is going to do a really good job for day-to-day performance. If you're just going to use it for daily stuff, taking some photos, it's got optical image stabilization with the Sony lens. It's got the 50 megapixel camera, or the Sony sensor, sorry, and it's going to take better nighttime shots, which is going to be an improvement, something we don't see a lot in the low-level budget sector for phones. 5,000 milliamp battery. It's got dual stereo speakers, so you got stereo speakers on here, Dolby Atmos, and then the belle of the ball, this guy right here, the stylus. So like I was saying, the S25 Ultra, a lot of people were pissed off because they got rid of the Bluetooth features. So no longer can you use it for like the air gestures, no longer can you use it for things like a remote shutter. It's basically a dumb S Pen now, just like we get with the one you buy aftermarket that goes with the Fold. So they are now both dumb S Pens. But that's more of an, I guess that's more of an insult to a $12.99 phone than it is a $3.99 phone. And this one, it's got a nice little complement of stuff built into the phone to take advantage of the stylus. And it's neat. You pull out the stylus, it pulls up the menu. There's also a little pencil icon right there. So that's right there. You get the Moto notes, you get screenshot, freeform crop, sketch to image, which of course you do have to sign in. You have to have a Moto account or whatever. You got to sign in with your Gmail or create an account. So you have to do that because it does the processing off-site. It's not done on the phone. You get the handwriting calculator, which, hey, if you're a student, if you're taking algebra or geometry, this thing is a cheat code, which I did that a very long time ago. I'm not going to say how long ago I took college algebra and the like. But, hey, if you're still suffering through those mathematical trenches, this could be a big help. And then they've got the one where you can create GIFs and stuff. But anyway, it's a neat little complement that they add on to here. And I think that really is the big thing that defines this phone and makes it special. A lot of people really like having an S Pen, and it's a shame there aren't more phones that offer it. It's nice that they have with the Moto G Stylus. LG used to offer it with the Stylo, and then there was the S series phones or the Note series phones that Samsung had, and it was always like, all right, either got to use a cheap budget phone or you got to spend over $1,000 to get a stylus with your phone. And I think it's a nice thing to have. It's great for multitasking. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 is going to do a little bit better multitasking. It's still going to suffer whenever it comes to extensive gameplay, but for like moderate, immediate games or playing high-level games on lower settings, you'll be able to do some of that stuff. And you can get recharged quick, fast, in a hurry. 68-watt charging. Now, the sad thing is you will have to buy a charger to charge this. It does not come within the box. It comes with basically some documentation, a SIM ejector tool, and a USB-C cable, which charges USB-C on the bottom. Very easy. It's got 15-watt wireless charging. So you've got the wireless charging option, and then you got the super fast charging option. It's got Gorilla Glass 3 on the screen, which I've talked about this a lot in several videos. I really like that these budget phones are sticking more with the Gorilla Glass 3. One is cheaper. It's been around a long time. But there's one reason that I love Gorilla Glass 3, and that's because it's more resistant to scratches. It's more resistant to scratches. It's not like the newer ones that are more shatter resistant. Now, I will say Gorilla Glass Armor, the Gorilla Glass Victus Armor that's on the S25 Ultra is fantastic for scratches and like cracks and drops and things like that. But when Gorilla Glass first came out, it was really about the surface hardness and preventing scratches, and then it got more into the shatter resistance as we got into Gorilla Glass 4 and 5 and moved on to Victus and things like that. I like 3. And they use it in a lot of popular phones, like even the Pixel 9a still has Gorilla Glass 3. So that means it's going to be more resistant to getting those little scratches in the screen, but it's going to be more prone if you drop it to having like big cracks and shattering and things like that. Use a screen protector. That's generally what I recommend. And you can get one cheap. I ordered a cheap case and a package of some reputable screen protectors on Amazon. The screen protector is like $7-8 for our 3-pack. It's called Mr. Shield, I believe is the brand. I've used them for a lot of budget phones for years. It should work fine. I'm waiting for it to show up in the mail. Again, I just got this a couple days ago. That's why this is not the full review. This is my initial review. And I do like it a lot. Now, it's got a plastic body. It feels nice and lightweight. It's not super heavy. And it's got 2 different storage options, 128 or 256. I have 8 gigs of RAM. You get the RAM Boost, which you could do with the Motorola Power, the Moto G Power, the Moto G. So that gives you that extra RAM experience, which does make things run a little bit smoother. I mean, I kind of recommend turning it on, especially when you get, I mean, I've got the 256 model. Largely what you're going to see is probably a 256 model. And on top of that, you've got an expandable SD card slot. So you can throw an SD card slot in here on top of your storage. That's fantastic because then you have all the storage you want for your apps and for your, if you want to download videos, if you want to download, save a bunch of pictures, you know, all that stuff is really good. The Moto software suite on here is pretty good as well. And I like that they do a very stock Android experience. Like this reminds me of what stock Android used to be like on the Pixel. I have no real bloatware on here whatsoever. And this is the unlocked model, so I wouldn't expect any carrier apps and things like that. But this is unlocked, 256. It's running Android 15 out of the box, which a lot of last year's Samsung phones still aren't running. Yeah, so that's a thing. But you only get 2 years of operating system updates. Now, here's the thing. Would I like to see more? Surely I would. I would like to see at least probably 3. I think that there is kind of a delineation we need to make here. Like, if you're paying $1,000 for a phone, you should expect 7 years of updates, at least 5. If you're buying a $300-400 phone, if you get 2 or 3 years of operating system updates, it's more palatable. It's not ideal, but you have to look at this and go, okay, well, it's not a flagship chip. It's not going to be something that's not going to be a Snapdragon 8 performance. So using this phone for 5, 6, 7 years is going to be less feasible than using a newer one. And then on top of that, where's the payoff? Like, is Motorola going to get paid a ton of money to continue supporting this after they sell the phone? No, they're not. So they have to price that stuff in, and to keep the phone cheaper, especially being a smaller phone manufacturer, they're not Samsung, they're not Huawei, they're not Apple, right? They got to make money somehow, right? So this is a $399 phone. Surely you'll find it on sale not too long in the near future. And sadly, it only comes in 2 blue colors. There's only 2 blue colors. There's Pantone Gibraltar Sea and Pantone Surf the Web. I think that's the 2 names. Whatever. There's blue and there's another shade of blue. I wish that there was a gray, a green, a brown, or anything else. But there are 2 distinct blue colors. I love the vegan leather on the back. This is something that we've come to enjoy with a lot of Motorola phones. I mean, I've got my, if I grab it here, my Razr Plus, and I've got this mocha-looking color one that I absolutely love. Beautiful stuff. Motorola has been all in on this whole vegan leather stuff. It's synthetic leather on the back, but it feels nice. It's pretty durable. IP68 and mil standard drop protection. So this is going to be protected up to 1.5 meters of water for up to half an hour. You drop it in the drink and forget about it. Of course, you drop it in a pool. You want to clean it because it's not protected against chlorinated water, or maybe it is, but it's not protected against salt water. So definitely you do want to rinse it off after that, especially drop it in the salt water. But anyway, yeah, it's a decent phone. It's got nice, pretty decent speakers. It's got a headphone jack on the bottom. So this thing already out of the box has several features that a lot of people love that you don't get in a lot of flagship phones anymore. It's got a SD card slot, and it's got a headphone jack. So if you've got all that stuff, you're going to be ready to go. It does take macro photos as a 50 megapixel camera and a 13 megapixel camera on the back, and then a 32 megapixel selfie camera. It shoots 4K 30, and it's a nice, smooth experience. Like, I've been using it, and it's one of those things where I don't really have any problems with it. The 120 hertz refresh rate and everything is nice. It's smooth. It doesn't feel junky or janky or unresponsive. It feels nice and smooth for what it is. I played some Boom Beach on here, so it's Boom Beach certified, if you were wondering about that. And when I get around to the full review, as I have more time, I'm going to take some photos, and we'll take a look at that. I will go ahead and take a selfie real quick, though. There we go. Took a selfie. I mean, the selfie photo looks perfectly fine. I think the cameras are okay. They're very similar to the ones we had last go around, and I thought the Moto G Stylus 2024 took pretty good photos. And on top of that, just the Moto series, for what they've been bringing to the table, even with the G Power, I was impressed with the G Power cameras for what the price was. So I think that Motorola is doing a lot of good things here. It does have a fingerprint scanner. It's a optical one. Again, it's very, very low on the screen. I would hope that it would be a little bit higher, but it's very low on the screen. It's nice. It's responsive. It works. You got facial unlock technology. You can use that too. It's just a simple face scanning, but it does the job. And yeah, overall, I think Motorola's done a great job with this phone. I think if you're interested in it, it's something worth picking up, especially if you like using the stylus. Again, if you want to get a stylus in a phone, it's basically this, or you buy an expensive Samsung phone. This right here is $900 cheaper than the S25 Ultra. So, and the thing is these budget and mid-tier phones just keep getting more formidable and better performance year over year over year. So even I using a power phone all the time, I could use this. Like, I could daily drive this if I needed to, and it really wouldn't bother me. Yes, it wouldn't be as powerful, it wouldn't be as elaborate, it wouldn't have as nice a cameras and all that great stuff, but if I can use this phone, you can use this phone. And it's $399. So I think it's a lot going for it, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I'll come back with my full review later on as I've had more time to test it out. It will be more camera-centric next time, so I will be highlighting the cameras and the things like that. But so far, so good, and that's it for the Moto G Stylus 2025. So if you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, please, of course, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.